Well, everybody, welcome to a new show that we've decided to start. We've been talking about this one for a couple of months, actually.
It's through its usual vetting process, my friend. We've been through the planning and the development stages. It's just now time to do the pilot.
Yep. So here we are for Animation Station. And I'm joined today by Andrew Dunning. So, welcome.
Yes, well, glad to be on board, and again, well, you pitched your idea. It was a good one. I'm always willing to give it a chance. So
yeah,
Toner was meant to come on, but of course, he has childcare commitments, which is so unusual to say for Toner. Well, just to clarify, Tor doesn't actually have any kids. He's looking after his niece and his little sister. But yeah, it's so weird to say that Toner has childcare commitments because he has all the, father appeal of a dead rat. And I only say that because I'm so fond of him.
He would say that as well, though.
Yeah, I never wanted kids. I never thought I'd be a good dad. It's just became a self-fulfilling prophecy. But yeah, I'm quite chuffed for this one because we've always talked about kind of the adult animation that's out there and how we were going to maybe try and bring it, an idea of it. First, we were thinking we do separate shows for it in different channels. We thought, well, let's just combine them all into one. We can just separate them into playlists. We could talk about series of certain things for one. We could do we debate show, and it's mainly this is Kev's baby. He's now up to his third channel in Ginger Media Limited. But who would have thought
possibly going to be a fourth and fifth?
Yeah, who would have thought this time last year that this would be the case?
I know. We're up to 4. We didn't even have 1 then.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, at the time of this recording, for shows that are either already going or are in planning stages, we are at 16. I did a count yesterday because I was speaking to someone else about a couple of ideas, and I was like, my aim for the end of 2023 is to have 20, either in development or up and running. And I was like, holy hell, we might actually hit this target.
Yeah.
Especially when I'm just sitting there some days, I'm like, light bulb, I have an idea. I'm just trying to note it down.
And then you message me and go, I've got an idea. When are you free?
Yeah. And then I go, oh, I've already set up the channel, but this is it. But yeah, thoughts. Can't help it. I seen something on the socials today, and it said, you're not a jack of all trades, you just have ADHD. And yeah, and when it comes to content creation, that is definitely me. I just have all the ideas, and it's like, okay, I've got one at squirrel.
Pretty much.
And that's how I go. It's just absolutely brilliant. And yeah, it just shows that I'll even give myself a chance. If I don't give myself a chance, how could I prove that I give others a chance?
That's true. I mean, I've been so busy this week, clearing the house and gas safety checks and getting windows fixed because they wouldn't open, and we need the windows open at this time because it's boiling.
Yep.
And during that time, I actually managed to finish almost all of the X-Men cinematic universe.
Wow.
I've only got New Mutants to watch.
Oh, I mean, that's no mean feat. Well, definitely.
I'm a sucker for punishment.
Yeah, because even I cut ones out of my own canon timeline for my own mental health sake.
Yep, I watched them all.
Oh man, I'm scared to edit that video.
I've not made it yet. Just wait.
I just know that when I edit, I'll just see your spirit break slowly but surely. It'll just all go downhill, and I'm like, oh man, I feel so sorry. But here is a question for you just before we jump in. It does relate to this. Will you cover the cartoons of Marvel on Animation Station, or will you cover it on Gentle Dirks?
I will do it on both.
Do a crossover.
Because some of them are not canon yet, like the Spider-Man animation, the X-Men animation, which when that comes out, that will become canon because they're doing the continuation. I was going to say that are words, but it's not. It's a continuation.
It's not.
And I was thinking about getting like Batman animated series and all those ones. And I was going to have the DC animated universe as like a whole series, because that in itself could go on both. I have touched on it on Gentle Dorks in the past.
Yes, I know. I edit the videos.
When doing further DC films, because The Flash is coming out soon, I'm going to have to do a video on that.
Yep.
I've been asked to do Ant-Man, to give my thoughts on Ant-Man. And I'll be doing Guardians 3 as well. So there's plenty to come.
Yeah, I'm so glad I bailed out the MCU when I did, because I was like, right, Endgame's the logical jumping off point for me. When they said multiverse, I was like, I've had too many bad experiences with multiverse stuff. I am out. I'm like, do what you will. I will catch up if it doesn't bomb. We'll just wait and see. But for the uninitiated, explain kind of what your premise was for Animation Station and what you're planning on covering. Well, I blow my nose.
Well, it's basically to prove that not all animation is just for children. Because yes, you've got your, as you see in the background, your Family Guys, your South Parks, your Archer, your Beavis and Butthead. But there is animations there that are for like family-friendly experiences. For example, my children love How to Train Your Dragon.
Ah, yes.
Love them. I'm going to have to do a video on that because of them. And also, it's going to be quite relevant because they're doing a live action.
That'll be interesting.
So that'll be a crossover into Gentle Dorks, because I'll put that onto that when that comes out, and it'll link into a video I done quite recently that's not come out yet about Disney. Yep. But yeah, it's just to prove that adults can sit down and watch animation and enjoy it.
Yeah. It's kind of the same way that, like, the way you talk about, like, with the animations, the way that I'm like with Tom's Tank Engine. Yes, it is. It is now gravitated towards babies and kids. That's the primary target, but it was never intended to be. It was something that, you know, when the Rev wrote the books, he said the kids are going to be listening to it, but the adults have to be able to tell the stories over and over again and not want to slit their wrists.
Yeah.
Well, and actually enjoy the stories. So it's got to be, I always say, like, if you're making any animation, even if it is for kids, you have to appease the adults, because they're the ones that have got the money.
Exactly.
They're the ones that will give the money to the kids so they can buy their merchandise.
Yep.
It's the same deal. It was like, I remember my parents buying me South Park video when I was 10 years old. Well, and then I remember watching it at my grand's on Christmas Day, and now I feel so horrible about doing that, because grandpapa, very, very like conservative Christian kind of people, and I was like, holy fuck, what did I just do? You never twig with that type of thing. And yeah, I was like, oh no. And then Mama, I can imagine how mortified Mom and Dad must have been, because it was season 1 South Park. Ooh. It was the Halloween episode. And I'm like, oh god, what have I done to my family? But yeah,
but we will be talking about South Park at one point or another.
Oh, we've got to. When we're talking about, like, you know, shows that have longevity, like South Park is up there, Family Guy's there, American Dad's there. But the one that we're talking about today is arguably the one that started it all.
Yes.
And that is?
It is The Simpsons.
So, just to, well, obviously for the audience, we'll give them a wee idea of what this episode is going to be like. Essentially, it's kind of similar to what, you know, the Super Geek Gentle Dork, those Dying Dorks is kind of thing, where Kev has picked a subject, he sourced some questions, and we'll have a discussion about it and see and give our thoughts on that that liver disease ridden family.
Yep.
Because they're just that yellow.
They are.
Yeah.
It's because they live next to the nuclear power plant.
Exactly. Well,
I mean, Family Guy proved that when they done the crossover.
Oh yeah, I think that was one of the finest episodes that either show had done in a long time.
It had been.
Yeah. And I think it's also the fact that everybody thinks there's a rivalry between them, but Matt Groening and Seth MacFarlane are actually really good friends. And they really respect each other's work.
I mean, Seth MacFarlane said that if it wasn't for The Simpsons, he wouldn't have thought, I could make a go of this.
Mm-hmm.
I could get into animation as a viable job for myself and, makes myself some money.
Yeah. But he was involved in a lot
of done it.
Yeah, because he was involved in a lot of the early 2000s Cartoon Network renaissance as well.
Yeah.
He was very
Johnny
much
Bravo.
Yeah, Johnny Bravo was the main one. Cow and Chicken.
Yeah.
As well. Dexter's Lab, the early seasons of Dexter's Lab. And when you watch those ones back, you can tell it was the building blocks for what he was going to go on to do.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that he tried to push the envelope with to see what he could get away with. And I was like, oh, what you could just now, with hindsight, it's so MacFarlane.
Yeah.
So, Kev, let's get started then. So the first question that you have sourced, my friend.
Okay, well, after 34 seasons and a 35th and 36th season being confirmed, do you feel that The Simpsons can continue and get back to how they were during the golden age of the show?
First of all, I cannot believe that it has lasted this long. Like, it's younger than you, but the same age as me. Like, I'm going to be 36 this year in 2023 at the time of this recording. And it is so hard to believe because it was Christmas 1987. I believe it was the first episode that came out.
89 it was.
89. So I was only 2. So I was only a little bit older than Maggie.
Yeah, I was 6. I remember sitting on Christmas Day watching the first episode on Sky.
Wow. It's unreal to think about. And
to put that into perspective, right? At the time of this recording, right, I was 6 when I watched that. I will be 40 tomorrow.
At the time of this recording, yes. And it's just so hard to believe. Like, think of the amount of generations that have grown up with The Simpsons.
Yeah.
In some vain, shape, or form. It's mind-boggling to think about. There's been entire runs of any other types of shows and any other type of media.
Yeah.
That The Simpsons has not only maybe doubled but tripled in length.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think it can get back to its golden age years? I mean, anything can get back to a golden age, or a renaissance, kind of thing. It's like when people say, when we talk about the professional wrestling stuff, and they go, "Oh, can this guy win?" And yes, anybody can beat anybody because if you write it into a storyline, that's it. It's there. While some storylines we may not agree with, and some you're just like, "Oh, for God's sake, this just stretches reality." If you write it down, it's there.
Yeah,
it's like anything can be done, but it all depends on the factors and things around it. I personally don't think it'll ever get back to the way it was because so much has preceded it since then. I mean, you'll get some of the ones that are in the background of my Yul Brynner heat. You've got South Park, Archer, Futurama, which obviously created by Matt Groening himself, Family Guy, American Dad, Beavis and Butthead. And so many types of animation have come since then. And even look at kind of stop motiony ones. You've got Robot Chicken, Celebrity Deathmatch, which could be a good crossover with Raw's Ginger. I'm very much I want to watch Celebrity Deathmatch again.
I know.
It was insane, and I loved it. I think it's more for the point that if so many people hadn't talked about it, I genuinely thought that maybe Mom and Dad had spiked me with something. And I was on something because it was just so bonkers.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll ever get back to the way it was. Too much has happened. Media has moved on. Time has moved on. Like from that point, you think about what The Simpsons was back then in the early 90s. Well, a lot of it was very, very risky.
Yes.
But now you look at it and it's like I could plot my 5-year-olds watching it and they wouldn't bat. They would think it was boring.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when it comes to like, the things that they got uptight about back then in the 90s, was The Simpsons, showing God. Well, and even then, he didn't even show his face or her face or its face, or we don't know, we don't discriminate. But they never showed the face. What Family Guy did later.
Yeah.
But there was all that type of stuff as well. Because I remember watching the documentary around, I think it was the 10-year anniversary, and Matt Groening was like, they want families that go to church, they go to church. They want families that pray, they pray. They want families with God in their lives. We show God, and they're not thankful. And I just remember bursting out laughing. And and I always remember his dad had said something about that. He said hell in an episode. So I don't think that's appropriate. He went, Dad, the father chokes his son on a daily basis, when you have no problem with that. And they just burst out laughing, and I was like, well, yeah. And that was really the only thing that they had a lot of controversy about for it at the time, was the whole kind of religious angle, and the fact they weren't like the Waltons, was the infamous George Bush line. But they were a normal-ish family.
Yeah.
But now it's totally different controversies. I mean, the Apu scandal, or Apu gate, or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
That's changed, and so much has went down since then.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I don't think it was something out of nothing, because if someone's upset about it, there's a reason by it, and I respect it. At the time, however, there wasn't a great pool of Indian actors for playing that. They had to just basically work with who they got,
who they had at that time,
and what was available. It's like if we if we create a series or a pilot or whatever, the majority of the people that are involved in ginger media at this precise moment are white guys.
Yeah.
Because they're the only people who are coming on board.
Yeah.
We are diverse, and we want more diversity. We want more cultural appropriation. No, not cultural appropriation. You know what I mean, though. We want different cultures, different backgrounds. We want everybody to be represented. But if the only people that are willing to work with you are straight white guys, then it's straight white guys.
That's it.
And it was the same deal. If the only voice actors that they could get at the time were white guys and white women, that was all they could get at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But once they got bigger, then that could be more of a case of, okay, maybe now we can take a step back and maybe broaden our pool, and get and now we'll actually maybe get more people. It was the same with Family Guy with Cleveland. Yeah. Cleveland Brown being voiced by a white guy, because that was all they had.
Well, they didn't have the money to cast anybody, so it's like, he just went to he's one of the animators and the producers. He's like, Mike, you need to voice this guy. You can do that high voice you do. Yeah. And he's like, okay.
Yeah. And it's basically it. It's just the people that you can get to work with you. Mm-hmm. So for example, again, when we go back to Thomas and Friends, a lot of people were always like, why are there no women voicing the female engines? Because no women were going to work with them.
No.
Well, the whole point was they only had the budget for a narrator.
Yep.
During that time, who had to do voices.
Mm-hmm.
But when it was a bit more of a franchise and it had more money at its back, and then they thought, right, we're finally going to get a voice cast, they could get female voice actresses or voice actors or whatever they like to be called. Some like prefer actress, some prefer actor. But they were able to get them, and that was the point. They were able to get them at that point because they could. And people don't seem to realize that when a show is starting out, you're limited to your budget, to your restraints, to your network demands, and all these different requirements. So it'll never be what it was because times have completely changed.
Yeah.
Time's moved on. Technology moved on.
Yeah, totally agree with you. I mean, the thing about all the cast and that, and having Indian actors playing the Indian characters and black actors playing the black characters, that's completely fine.
Yeah.
like you said, the show had gone on for so long, and then they decided, why is it this?
Mm-hmm.
And it came about at a time when there was a lot of stuff going on about that.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson was in Ghost in the Shell, and
Yes.
they're like, why don't they have an Asian actor playing her? And then it's like, well, that character's essentially a robot. They could have had anybody playing that.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like, it's for me, things like that. It's like fake rage. It's like, they've got this character. They should have had somebody like this person playing them. And like that, people are entitled to their opinion. Personally, I wasn't a fan of the film. I preferred the anime. I don't have anything against Scarlett Johansson. Some of her other films are really good.
Yep.
Her portrayal as Black Widow is amazing.
Yeah. And in fairness, like, I could take offense in that because she's not an actual ginger.
Exactly.
But then people just go, oh, but it's easier to dye your hair than it is to change your skin color. I think Tropic Thunder proved you different.
Yeah. And that as well, that is fake rage. Because if they're raging about that, it's like what Ben Stiller says, if they're raging about that, then they haven't watched the film.
Because that was the whole point. It was the whole point that someone was going to do that, and they were like, we were poking fun at it because it was wrong.
Yeah.
What? And that's the type of thing we need. We need people to cut what they missed the point that they were calling it out, rather than them going, okay, we're just accepting it. It's an in joke. Because it could have been like, right, okay, you hired Tom Cruise, a genuinely beautiful man, and you made him a fat, bald guy with hairy hands. What? That's beauteous. And I'm like, well, no, it's just like you go into a character.
Yeah.
What? And it's what happens. Like, and no one kicked off about that. And they say that was actually one of his best performances of his career.
Oh.
Because he didn't take himself seriously, and it was fantastic.
To quote Toner, 100%.
Yep, 100%. I'm getting that made into a t-shirt. I'm gonna redo the spread shop. I've deactivated the old one. I'm gonna get a new one made so we can get all these things covered. Like Joseph, who does Shell Shock, again, sub to that if you haven't already. Because he used to be a chef, he always goes chef's kiss. So I have made like a chef's kiss symbol for him to make a catchphrase for him. So these are all things that we'll be doing. But yeah,
and
I think
there you go. There's another crossover, because I'll be talking about the Turtles eventually.
Oh yeah, definitely. That will be in the animation station, 100%. But do I think that Simpsons has a chance to kind of revisit what it could have been? Definitely, but it would need like a fresh injection, and it would need like something to kind of give it that boost. And I think they're just riding it. If they can replace actors after they've died, or write ones out and still keep going, then it's just going to keep going for the sake of keeping going.
Yeah.
So what about the next question, my friend?
Well, the next one is, with the amount of guest stars that's showing up on The Simpsons, who else, apart from YouTubers and TikTokers, can they get that they haven't already? Hint, just in case.
Yeah, we're always kicking about. Well, I'm very good in my voiceover work. So is Kev. Well, I think that is one of the things where it really is starting to falter as well. They've had so many celebrities on over the course of time that it's now at the stage they're at the bottom of the barrel. Where they've had, I was trying to think of who they've not had on, and anytime I'm trying to think of things, and I'm like, oh, what about? Oh wait, no, they've been on it. I was like, what about? Oh wait, no, they've been on it. Well, that person's been on twice. Yep. Well, you're going through it, and you're trying to think of someone that's not been on it, that's not already did.
Yep.
And even then, some of the deed folk have already been on it. Michael Jackson.
Yep.
Was on it. Then you look at ones like, Morgan Freeman been on it. Well, so that's
Yes.
Lawrence Fishburne been on it. Yeah.
Yep.
Samuel Jackson been on it. Well,
Yep.
what?
Kiefer Sutherland's been on it numerous times
Yes, he
as Jack
has.
Bauer and as the PE teacher with the bombardment.
Yeah, wasn't he also in one that was like a shipwreck one?
Yeah.
They were on a boat and it looked like they were going to say the word, and they went shipwreck. I just remember seeing the advert for that and just being like, that's all I need to see.
Yeah.
Even getting ones like Lady Gaga and stuff on
I know.
it. What? I mean, they had Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we know that. Yeah, the time is gone.
Yeah.
What? The only ones are the fake celebrities. You know, they'll never get Logan Paul on because he's too busy killing it in WWE. Much I hate the guy. Like he's brilliant at what he does. He's great at his craft. But
They probably couldn't afford them now.
no. Tyson Fury been on?
He's been on.
He's been on.
I think he was on season 32, I think.
You see, guys, we are trying to think of people that have been on, and they just we cannot get find someone that's not been on. I mean, if Trey Parker and Matt Stone been on,
probably. I know Seth MacFarlane has.
Yeah, Seth MacFarlane's been on, like, and Dan Castellaneta has been on, and obviously Simpsons. There was only I think there was a couple of people that weren't on, like in the crossover one. So Seth MacFarlane did their voices just to piss them off. Well, because it was like the ones that voice Smithers and Mr. Burns. Well, and they were like your impressions are just nigh on spot on, so just do it. Well, and it was just hilarious, and they keep kind of digging at them, going, "Yeah, you guys haven't been on yet." Well, so I genuinely would struggle to think of anyone that has not been on on The Simpsons or has been contacted with it.
I mean, I was going through these questions the other day, and I was trying to think. I was like, who hasn't been? And Eleanor was like, what about the people for Stranger Things? I was like, no, a lot of them have been on. Like the last season or the season before, they were on it.
I know. You look at loads of people. What? The only people that we could say, guest stars that have not been on are ones that haven't become stars yet.
Yeah.
So we don't know. We don't have a clue who's going to be on, who they could get on yet, because we've no found the new people yet.
Yeah.
They're out there. We just have to wait. I mean, because JLo's been on, hasn't she?
I think she's been on twice.
Ben
as
Affleck.
Herself.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon showed up a couple of times. Kevin Smith's been on.
Yeah.
Jason Mewes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they actually played Jane Silent Bob at one point.
Have the Clerks been on, Dante and Randall?
I don't know.
I think
possibly not. Possibly not.
That's me scraping, trying to think. Like that's the only thing that I would, if it's not been a case, I would like to see like a proper View Askew universe crossover.
Yeah.
And get Dante, Randall. Rosario Dawson been on?
Yes, she's been on as 3 different characters, I think. Yeah. Maybe 2.
Well, we can make it 4. Well, and then you get obviously Kevin Smith's daughter. Like she does a bit of acting herself as well. Like even guys like Alan Rickman, God rest his soul, like he was on it too. Yeah. Bruce Willis has been on it as well, I believe. What Demi Moore, Ashton Kutcher, what Topher Grace been on?
Yep.
So so there's loads of them. So the fact that I have had to go to my clerks, what to try and figure out who's not been on. There we go. That's how many people that they have had on.
I mean, they've had Woody Allen.
I know. That could be one, like we could do like a top 10 most controversial guest stars of The Simpsons. Because Michael Jackson would be on there.
Yep.
As well.
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby, yeah. Has Harvey Weinstein been on?
I don't think so.
Oh,
I think they spoke about him, but
yeah, I know that they have spoke about him, but you could have like Charlie Sheen. Has he been on?
I think so.
I know that they had Charlie Sheen on, and the one where like Mike, the Drederick Tatum was beating the crap out of Homer Simpson. He takes a break from beating him up to talk to Charlie Sheen, but they don't actually hear Charlie Sheen's voice.
Yeah.
But I would imagine he's been on, probably same with John Cryer.
Yeah.
Like Angus T. Jones, the guy who played Jake. He been on?
Maybe.
I would love to see him.
He might have played one of the new school characters that were there for like an episode and then disappeared.
Yeah, I would love to see him come on again, but as like an evangelist, because he went down that whole religious thing when he was in 2.5 Men, and just like he comes to town and tries to usurp Reverend Lovejoy or something. Just something ridiculous like that, like and just totally left field. Well, it's those type of things that we would need. I mean, because you think about the crossovers that you've had as well. We've had Family Guy. They've crossed over with Futurama. What we would really need to go into like B movie territory. Is Tommy Wiseau been in it?
I don't think so.
See, we are scraping now. We're getting to that point. I would love Tommy Wiseau to be in it.
Oh yeah, totally. I still want him to play Professor Pig in one of the Batman films.
Definitely.
I think I'm going to put up a petition. Get Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah, when we start getting more traction with all this, we'll get a hashtag going. Like Tommy Pig. There we go. That'll be what I got. Hashtag Tommy Pig.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, what? Even like, wonder if you get of the cast of like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers been on.
I don't know. Possibly Jason David Frank was on. But I don't know.
Like the original voice actors of TMNT?
Yes, a couple of them have done
thought so.
Other characters.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them were just voiceover actors, so they would come on. I mean, they even had Kevin Conroy.
That's
as an undisclosed character.
Yeah, they've had Kevin Conroy. They had the late great Adam West too. Like you say, they've had Ben Affleck. Have they had Christian Bale?
Yes, they did.
And they've had George Clooney.
Did
they have Val Kilmer?
Probably.
I think so.
I don't think they've had Tom Cruise.
Well, because I'm just trying to think of like all the Batmans. I think they've had Robert Pattinson on, haven't they?
Yeah, they've done a Twilight thing, so they got him in.
Yeah, so they've had all the Batmans as well at this precise moment. So there you go. There is no stopping that juggernaut of guest stars, and we just wait to see who it's gonna be, and if it's gonna be like newsworthy, because there hasn't been a newsworthy guest star in a very long time.
I think the last newsworthy one was Lady Gaga.
Yeah, even then I was thinking Benedict Cumberbatch when he played the kind of Morrissey ripoff. So let's round off with the final question, Kev.
Okay, well, with the Simpsons movie not being the success they wanted, and with Disney now owning the franchise, and talks of a sequel in the works, do you think a sequel is needed?
No. I personally don't think so. I don't even think the movie itself was needed. I don't understand the flack that it got, because I thought it was good.
I thought it was all right.
Considering when they brought it out, when it was in that real slump where we just genuinely thought, just kill it already.
Yeah.
Well, just take it out. And we thought the movie was going to be like the final kind of ride off in the sunset.
Yeah.
And we got it. And I was pretty okay with it. I thought, I'm actually all right with it ending here. If it ends here. It had just enough like of the kind of edgy humor that was like what it was back in like our day when we watched it.
Back in the 90s, as Bojack would say.
Yeah, back in the 90s. But it had just enough of that, but it also still had its kind of more current thing. So it managed to juggle it for me. There's a couple of things that you still remember from it today, like the bountiful penis.
I like men now.
And Spider Pig. Before Spider Ham, was known to the masses. The infamous one where Homer's like on that boulder and he just keeps getting battered between a rock and a pub called A Hard Place. And they just swing, and then it stops. then the boulder just goes, screw it. Bang, bang. What, and rattles him again. What, the wrecking ball just rattles him again. I was like, see, he did it before Miley Cyrus made it cool.
Yeah.
What, Miley Cyrus been on, actually?
Yeah.
I thought she would have been because of Hannah Montana stuff. I'll just think about these things as we'll go on, because I'll be like, right, what wrestlers haven't been on yet? I'll be like, but that'll be a pool of professional wrestlers. I could see Cody Rhodes turning up. And doing something like that, because he's got that kind of about him. I would love to see Sami Zayn in The Simpsons as a ginger, and also because he does have that wackiness about him to a character. Make it happen. Give us an animated Sami Zayn v Jackass fight. Bring back Celebrity Deathmatch just to do that in stop motion. I would be so on board with that. It's one of the things. I don't think it needs another movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it needed a movie then, in all honesty.
Personally, I think the movie should have been 10 years before it was.
Yeah, it felt like they'd kept all their best jokes from 10 years ago in a freezer and just decided, right, let's just bring them out and try and thread the story together.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind.
But it should have been done 10 years before.
Yeah, but it should have been done then.
Yeah.
It's like, having a sequel movie for it is not needed. I still kind of watched the original movie and go, it was what it was of its time. We still have the nice 2D. It was still the nice 2D animation before it got kind of totally overridden with everything. They just kept getting yellower and yellower.
Yeah.
And it had enough of the kind of CG aspects tweaked into it that didn't take the shine off of the original animation itself. And I honestly don't know how they're going to end The Simpsons. I really don't know how.
I've thought about this, and it was the missus that came up with this idea. She's like, they should finish it on a Christmas episode.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is they're driving into the church.
And
then it goes to the original episode. Complete time loop. There we go.
That's why I kind of wasn't too fussed about Futurama coming back.
Yeah.
Because the way they ended it, it basically set it up for, right, we're going to go round again, and we're going to go back to the start. We'll forget everything that's happened. And it basically, it does Ouroboros it. It just makes it like the infamous circle, like no beginning or end. The snake eating its own tail. So you have that. You can easily finish that Futurama with what you want to go around again. I do. They go off, and then you put in the first episode again.
Yeah.
So I was perfectly fine with that. I thought that's a great way to round it off. It's so good, and it was so creative. And then I'm like, really? We're bringing it back? Yep. I'm glad it's coming back, but I'm just like, it was nice. It was nice for me that way it ended. But I know they'd had a couple of previous endings, like 4 of them.
Yeah, but the thing about
that was the best. That was the best of the 4.
The thing about Futurama is because of the type of show it is. So it's like the end. So let's go back round. They can retcon that and go, oh, we actually get pushed forward, but you're back to looking like you were. So we're actually 4 years in the future.
Yeah. And again on a different network or whatever they want to do with it.
Yeah.
Because I always remember that after what they'd done the movies and they came back, like, we've now jumped to the Comedy Central universe. And I was like, okay, fair dues. I give you your respect for that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the best idea that I have heard for how to finish The Simpsons.
Yeah.
But I personally I would be the one that would go, Futurama did it. Like everybody does with Simpsons did it. I would just be like, they've just ripped off their own Futurama.
Yeah.
Well, I could understand why though, why your missus would think that, but and that ending technically would be redundant now if Futurama's coming back.
Yep.
I might just choose to live in denial like I do with certain things. Well, and be like, no, it ended that way for me. I liked it that way. Like how I don't acknowledge that there's a season 9 of Scrubs or a season 8 of That 70s Show or or anything like that. Like I don't like. I'm like I don't acknowledge there was the perfect ending there, and
there's that season 9 of Scrubs.
We don't talk about that.
There's no season 9.
No,
it's like Game of Thrones. You watch say like halfway through season 8, and that's it.
I don't even acknowledge. I don't acknowledge it. They got to, I think, season 5. End of season 5. I was kind of okay at that point. Even then, I was still like, "Oh, this is a struggle because Dorn."
Yeah, that was a bit.
What?
A bit slow.
So even then, I gave it an extra season, and I felt it deserved in my head. What? You get that? I mean, with Scrubs as well, that wasn't originally meant to be a continuation. It was meant to be a completely different. It was meant to be a spin-off.
Yeah.
But basically, the writers the network bottled it. And they're like, it's not going to stand on its own. We have to call it Scrubs season 9 to try and make sure people come back to it. Because I remember
and then they did, and then they're like, no.
Yeah, I tuned into the first 2 episodes because I just mainly because I knew Zach Braff and that were coming back. I just wanted to see what happened with them. And then I looked and I went, oh fuck, it's David Franco's brother. David Franco. Nope, I'm out, I'm done. I step back.
Yeah.
But nothing against Dave Frank because they turned out to be like an absolutely amazing actor. He just had really, really crap material. What in Scrubs? I was just like, no, it was the perfect ending. And they just bottled it.
Yep.
But yeah, and it was something I was actually thinking about as well, because there was a podcast that I listened to. I cannot remember the name of it for the life of me, but it was talking about long-running series, and it was asking, why do long-running series have such difficulty sticking the landing? And my answer to the question was because they're long-running series.
Yeah.
What if you think about like ones like, for example, Supernatural? Supernatural was meant to end at season 5. They had planned for 5 seasons, and that was meant to be it.
Yep.
But the studio saw dollar signs.
I got to season 16.
Yeah. Well, season 15, and then they've done a wee kind of prequel series. They've done that Winchester thing, and that's lasted the season, and they've went, no, we're out.
Yeah.
But the whole point was they saw the dollar signs. Everybody wanted more. And they were just like, okay, we could maybe tell some more stories. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. And to the point where we're just like, we're just here now because we're here, and because we like the cast. Yeah. We don't like the stories. The stories are getting progressively worse. Please end it.
And I've heard a lot of people say that after like season 7, they're like that. It's just the same over and over again. There's no change.
I'm still a big fan of Supernatural, and I think if they had ended it the episode before they were meant to end it, for me, that was actually a good episode to tie up on. The penultimate episode, well, a lot of kind of things got resolved. It was all good, and I was like, well, you know what, I'm okay with that. And then they got the proper finale episode, and I personally felt that it was not needed. It was just we're like, right, we want to do one final episode where they're just doing their hunt back to being hunters, and not fighting gods and stuff like that. And then Dean dies, and I'm like, okay. Spoiler alert for anybody that's not seen it yet, but yeah,
I've not seen it yet.
Sorry, buddy. But it's
don't need to watch it now. Don't need to watch it now. See ya.
I would still watch it just to say that you've watched it.
I've watched it. It's on my watch list, but as you know, my watch list is like the size of like Scotland.
Yeah, pretty much. But it was a case of like they done the episode beforehand. I thought was a good way to end it, because these guys have taken on like God. They've taken on literal God and won.
Yeah,
more than once, I might add. And the way that Dean goes out after that felt like such a kick in the balls for me.
Yeah.
And then you see how Sam carries on afterwards, because he says to him, do not, under any circumstances, try and bring me back in any way, shape, or form. Do not do it. Like, I need to rest. And it's like, fair dues. And Sam carries on with his life. Fair dues. But I didn't need to see it. I didn't need to see
Yeah.
like Sam, go like living his life and then becoming old man Sam and then passing away. And then, it's the whole kind of the reunite in the afterlife, all that stuff. What again, I'm trying not to give too much away because I do want you to see it because it is good. What in the sense of it was what it was. It wraps up some story bits when you're like, hey, oh cool. What? But it wasn't needed compared to how the previous episode had went out.
Yeah.
But it just reminded me of that whole thing. There was too much of a good thing, and they wound up just spinning their wheels.
Yeah.
Even shows like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, that was meant to end in the 5th season.
Yes, it was.
Because she died.
Yeah.
What? For anybody else who's not seen it, spoiler alert. But she died twice.
Thanks.
Yeah.
No, I've seen them.
I know you've seen them. That's why I wasn't too fussed. I feel bad for Supernatural now. Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, I already heard that he died.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was a case of like, she died twice. Come on.
Yeah.
Technically 3 times. Well, because obviously she got shot in season 6 and she was on the way out and Will brought her back.
Yeah, that's true.
So she was pretty much on. We'll go 2.5 because she was almost dead and Will brought her back. But the whole point was like when you looked at that finale episode and they had the previously part and they showed you all the clips from the 5 seasons. I'm like, if that's not the way it was meant to end, I don't know what was.
Yeah.
People still say that they like the 6th season and the 7th season. I did not, because I felt that was when it was meant to end. And that was only 2 seasons. They brought it back because the studio, again, were like, okay, can we carry on with this? Yes, we can.
Money, yum.
Yep. And it was like, let's get money. 2 seasons, and then they cancel it. And they're left scrambling to try and round things off. Well,
and then they made Angel for another 3 seasons after that. That had 5 in total.
No, they had only 1 season afterwards. They only had 1 season afterwards, and then the network cancelled that.
So they were because they ran for the
Yeah, because I said that James Marsters was a jinx. The guy who plays Spike, because he went from he was made a main character in Buffy, and then it got cancelled, and then they brought him back in Angel for the 5th series, and then it got cancelled. And I was raging.
And he showed up in Torchwood a couple of times, and then that got cancelled.
James Marsters is a jinx.
He's a jinx.
He's a damn fine actor, but he is a jinx to any show. But yeah, it was the same deal. Like, even that, there was the plan to stop.
Yeah.
But then the networks go, let's keep making that money. And then they've got to try and think of other ways to spin it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go, no, it's cancelled now. You're not making us any money. And then they're left scrambling to the point that Joss Whedon only told them that the show was cancelled on the second last day of shooting.
Yeah.
And that's why Sarah Michelle Gellar never came back for any cameos or guest appearances for the final season of Angel, because she was so pissed, understandably.
Yeah. It does.
And there was a lot worse with Joss Whedon after that we found out, but that's another story.
Yeah.
But you look at any long-running series, its longevity is its own downfall.
Mm-hmm.
Because people then don't know how to wrap it up. They get stage fright.
Yeah.
That's why I know it might sound biased for me, but I like British shows because they seem to have more authority of their own brand. Like if they say, look, we've got a plan
3
for
seasons.
3 seasons, 5 seasons.
They do 3 seasons, and then they say, possibly we can give you a 4th, but that would be it.
Yeah, but that's it. And they'll be like, we could give you a 4th. We're stretching it. We could give you a 5th, but we really have to stop because we are bone dry here.
Yeah.
And I think about the 5 seasons for any show is the sweet spot to kind of stop before that rot sets in. Breaking Bad was 5 seasons, wrapped up perfectly, did great. Better Call Saul, I think, was 6. It still wrapped up perfectly. It was still kind of within that ballpark. There's plenty of shows that they have that sweet spot there, and they just go, okay, right, we're out. Peaky Blinders went on a season too long. I think it was 6 seasons.
I never watched that.
It's good. I do highly
like the look of it. I've never liked the look of it. I'll probably watch it just to say whether I liked it or not. I'll probably watch at least a season.
Yeah, I do recommend it. I personally enjoyed it, but I think it was a season too long.
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion. But again, that was kind of how it is. And at the BBC show Ghosts that's on, it's wrapping up, and that'll be its 5th season. That'll be its final season. I think it's 5th or 6th. I think it's 5th.
I think Ghosts
it's wrapping up
on.
It could go on.
I think it could have went on for like another season or 2.
Yeah,
and
it
still
could go on.
And still worked, because they could have got the hotel up and running.
Yeah.
And they could have had all sorts of hilarity with that.
Yeah. I personally think they're saying that they don't want to overstay their welcome, and I respect that.
Yeah.
But there's still room for them to potentially do Christmas episodes or New Year episodes, and kind of dip their toe in every now and then, and depending on how they end it.
Yeah.
And just dip their toe and be like, what have they been up to since then?
Yeah. There's like Inside Number 9 as well. They've just finished their 8th series, and they've said they're doing one more series because it's Inside Number 9. If we don't finish it at series 9, or we keep going, it's not going to work, because it's Inside Number 9.
Yeah.
So we're going to stop at number 9.
Yeah. That's as one of the things with, I think it's especially with animated shows as well, is that they don't know when to pull the trigger, because they're always stuck in like this time bubble, because nobody gets older. Well, because they don't need to, or if they get older very, very slowly. I mean, it's been like 20 seasons of Family Guy, and Meg's only just turned 18, and she started out at 16. So it's like things like that, because with animated style, they know, like, we could keep this going and going as long as their voices don't give out, and even if they die, we get someone in that sounds like them, we're all good. And carry on. I personally think that there needs to be shelf life for animated shows. I mean, think about like BoJack Horseman. They called it.
It was supposed to be the series before, but Netflix made them stretch it out. A lot more, and like, well, some of the episodes might be capped then, because we've got that amount of series, that amount of episodes.
Yeah, and things like Rick and Morty, with the way everything's going with that now, they could keep that going forever and ever, and they could keep recasting and re-signing and all that stuff, but at some point you need to stop. And it was why I kind of respected Futurama finally stopping when it did stop. I felt it finally got the ending I felt it deserved. And it's coming back. Because they're like, okay, the voice actor is still alive. Okay, we'll give John DiMaggio more money. Let's get him back. And it's like, okay, there it is. But even ones like that, like King of the Hill, how many times was that cancelled and brought back?
4.
Wow, and it's still a case that it could still get brought back. And I'm like, there's only so much, as much as like King of the Hill, there's only so many times I can hear someone talk about propane and propane accessories. So I think with the Simpsons, it's only going to end when someone when they all just go, we've had enough.
So do you think that after season 36 then they should call it? Because that's 2 years away. Do you think they should just have their goodbye and do it?
I think the way it's going, I think they could go to season 50.
Probably could. It's Disney that own them now, so Disney are good at flogging dead horses.
And it's maybe like it would get to a point where I think if they got to like a 50th anniversary, it could make sense for them to go out like that, because it's a golden anniversary. They are yellow. Kind of makes sense. But then you look at, again, I take Thomas and Friends as an example. The first Railway series book was wrote at the time of this recording 78 years ago. In 2025, it's going to be 80 years old. The first Thomas series came out in 1984. Is literally the same age as my brother. Who's only a couple of years behind yourself. So as long as people want to keep going, it'll keep going. And whether it's, the absolute abomination that is All Engines Go, or the classic model era series, it's always going to be there. they're no longer shows, they're franchises. The Simpsons is a franchise, Family Guy's a franchise now. What even like American Dad's a franchise. That's one they realistically thought would last like 4 or 5 seasons max.
Yeah.
And it's still going. The only one that bombed was Cleveland Show. And even then, I got 3 more seasons than I expected. And I was like, oh man. I did have one scene where I was like crying laughing. You know, with the possum on his genitals and the flamethrower, and the possum jumps off and he sets his own nuts on fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was of that age where I was just like crying laughing at that. It was just fantastic. But yeah, it was literally one time out of what, 3-4 years. Kanye West is a regular guest star. That's when you know it's bad.
It's not good.
No. Even look at ones like Behind Me, Archer.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely thought that it stopped about what I think it was what season where when Archer woke up and he was in space and his model was just like, you know, a robot, like a computer generated voice. Well, I thought it had stopped then.
Yeah.
And even then, like when the actress who voiced his mum passed away, I thought, right, it's going to stop then. It's still going. Yeah. And I've deliberately stopped watching it because I'm like, I just don't want to find. I don't know what they're trying to do, but they need to stop. They need to let some things go.
I stopped watching when they were doing the weird episodes where it's like his coma dreams. Yeah. And it's like they weren't needed.
Yeah, it was still his coma dreams at that point. Like where I stopped. Well, I was just going in his next coma dream. That was the space ones, and I was just like, as much as I love sci-fi, I've got to stop.
Yeah.
Like this is just getting.
I mean, I watched the series after he woke up, and they were back to being what Archer was.
Fair enough.
And they do a tribute to his mum. Aye, and see the guy who she married.
Yeah.
Him that owns the car garage thing.
Yeah.
That was actually her husband in real life. He died the year previously. And then she died. And spoiler, because you've not seen it, but it ends with they two on the beach, just retiring.
That's good.
And it's like that was just a nice wee tribute to them because they both died.
Yeah. I would be okay with it if it stopped there, but it's kept going.
Yeah, there was another series after that.
And it's realistically, it's still going to be the same deal. It's just like, we have trouble letting things go, especially when it comes to stuff like animated series. It's just, even saying my pal was like, look, we're just here because they're just keeping us going. It's not what I'm passionate about anymore. I mean,
Seth MacFarlane doesn't even do any of the animation. He's there to do the voices, and once he's done that, he goes. He doesn't even have anything to do with the writing anymore. He's like, on you go.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm too busy doing other things. Trying to get a new series of the Orville.
Yeah, you better get a bloody new series of the Orville. We are watching you.
Yes, Disney.
Make it happen. Because, as much as like everybody's got like, you know, this, we've now got a show for animation. I want a show for all sci-fi series. Where we can talk about Star Trek, Star Wars, Stargate, Babylon 5, Farscape. I haven't seen Babylon 5 in fairness, but and the Orville, and get Andromeda, get our nerd on that one. I just can't think of a title for the show yet, but that'll be coming too. So we need more Orville. Yeah, I think the long and short with the Simpsons is it's going to keep going, even if people die.
Yeah.
Even if the show isn't good, it's going to keep going as long as it keeps generating money.
Yeah.
And now with the advancement, like, you know, all this AI that's coming out, like ChatGPT and all that kind of stuff, they can get AIs to replicate their voices.
Yeah.
So they can still carry on doing this stuff even when they're dead. It's like that. And that's freaking me out a little bit, man. Like that's like going into Terminator territory for me.
It is.
Maybe I'm getting too cynical in old age, but yeah.
Do you want Skynet? Because that's how you get Skynet.
Yes. Do you want ants? Because that's how you get ants.
Hooray!
We got there. We got there. But yeah, it'll be an interesting time.
Yeah.
To say the least. I hope that if they ever do end The Simpsons, it'll be almost impossible to end it on a high.
Yeah.
But just stick the landing as best you can.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't need to be over the top. Doesn't need to be grandiose. Sometimes less is more. But I genuinely think that The Simpsons is going to outlive us. They'll still be making new episodes when we're on our deathbeds.
Yeah.
So I ain't watching any two-parters. Yeah, I would say that's a good start off for the animation station, my friend. I would say so. How have you found it?
Good, good. It's good to have a wee discussion about something different.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and you know, we act like we didn't take a lot from The Simpsons, but we took a lot from The Simpsons. As everybody has. Yeah.
I mean, The Simpsons did it first.
The Simpsons is now, well, it's been predicting the future since predicting the future became cool.
Yep.
It's unreal.
I mean, they predicted Trump shot for shot coming down that escalator.
Yes.
Shot for shot, 4 years before.
Mm-hmm. They really did predict it. I think it was maybe a case of like they done it and then Trump just went, that's not a bad idea. Well, and it would be understandable. The Simpsons, I'm pretty sure, have invented time travel.
I think Matt Groening's from the future.
Oh, aye. He's got to be. If he is, can you tell us how Game of Thrones was meant to actually end? Because George R.R. Martin ain't telling us. Yeah, it's certainly been a good pilot episode for Animation Station. What
couple of tangents.
Oh, that's what we do. That's how we start everything, with tangents.
Of course.
Yeah. What other ideas have you got for the for Animation Station? Anything that you can tease the audience for?
Well, like we said, we're going to have South Park. Going to need to talk about Futurama.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, Family Guy, American Dad, Archer. But I was also thinking about all the animated Disney stuff.
Yes.
As well. But have a deep dive into all of them.
Yeah, definitely.
It won't be one episode per film.
Yeah, I think we get some good deep dives in there. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Right, well, we'll call it that, my friend. Well, I've enjoyed being part of yet another pilot for Ginger Media Limited. Thank you for asking me to come on.
Not a problem. Why I'm here.
Yes, well, leads out, my friend. Is this your show?
On that note, we will leave you to ponder The Simpsons and when they should finish and how they should finish. If you have any ideas, let us know. You know, you never know if anybody from Disney's watching. We've had things appearing.
We're now getting to that predicting stage. We're now getting to that. Gingers did it.
Yeah, we've said things and then suddenly these things are happening. So somebody's listening to us because that's happening now.
Clearly, we are the innovators of change. What can I say?
Yeah. So let us know what you think, and like and subscribe, and let your friends know that animation's not just for kids.
Yep, the animation train has left the station. Good night.
See ya.